Cheers. Tips in under 5 minutes. So you have a stuck fermentation. Your beer hasn't gone down any points for a couple of days, and it's nowhere near as low as you want it to be, or it should be. It can happen for many reasons. You can make a mistake in your brewing practices, or for whatever reason it happens, your beer hasn't gone down to where you want it to be. What do you do? One of the most common ways that people do it is they heat the whole fermenter up a couple of degrees and give it a bit of a slow stir just to get the yeast up again and active. There's no real need to do that, and your brew might benefit for that, and then you're going to have to wait another couple of days for everything to settle down. One of the ways you can do it is decant, I don't know, a glass or just over of your wort, just into any container that's nice and clean, of course, sanitized. Grab some yeast. The same yeast you use to brew with is best. And what you do, you only need about, for say 500 ml, say you use, you might need 1/4 gram of yeast. So you get your little sample that you've decanted off somehow, siphoned or however you do it. You add your 1/4 gram of yeast to about 500 mils. You give it a good shake. You know, you can just put the lid on the jar and give that a good shake up. Better than that, but I'm not going to shake this up right now because that's actually beer, not water. Anyway, you put your yeast in, you give it a good shake. You loosen the lid off, or you can put Glad wrap and a rubber band around the top, and you put that in your fermenter fridge. You can even put it somewhere it's going to be a couple of degrees warmer. Of course, you don't want it too warm that it's going to kill your yeast. And you leave it there for 24 hours. After that, you come back after that 24 hours and you take a measurement of your wort in there, in your hydrometer or however you do it. If the points have lowered and the yeast has got back to work, then you know that adding more yeast or another packet, which you might have to do, to your fermenter will get it going again. If it hasn't moved again and it's the same, then you know you've either made a mistake in your brewing practices, or it's just not going to get any lower. That can be for many reasons. You know, you had more unfermentables than you thought, etc., etc. But and if it's not going to get any lower, then you can go ahead and straight to your fermenter and bottle it or keg it or whatever you're going to do. You don't have to wait for everything to settle down in your keg again. If the yeast, if it does ferment out a little bit further, then you know, alright, I can add the same yeast again. I might add another packet to your fermenter, and that should, in a couple of days, get your beer down to where you wanted it to be. Anyway, homebrew tips in under 5 minutes. This is actually beer and not wort, so I'm going to drink it. Cheers.